عموما تعرفوا تسميه معصوم because they are معصوم that person never make a mistake. Even the one when they offer him to make a mistake, he will never make a mistake. Okay? So this we call it Imam معصوم. How many معصوم we have?
مر محمد وآل محمد صلوات. بارے دیگر صلوات. صلی علی محمد. نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے، نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے، خدا کے دی کا نا خدا ہر ابتدا کی ابتدا، کرم کی انتہا حسین ہے. نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے، کرے جو کوئی ہم سری کسی کی کیا مجال ہے، جہاں میں ہر لحاظ سے حسین بے مثال ہے. یہ ہو چکا ہے فیصلہ، نہ کوئی دوسرا خدا، نہ کوئی دوسرا حسین ہے. نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے، کسی کو حوصلہ دیا، کسی کو بخش دی سحر، دیے کسی کو بالوں پر، کسی کو دے دیے پسر. پکاری بندہ پروری لغت میں اہل عشق کی مدد کا ترجمہ حسین ہے. نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے جس کی فکر کمر کا پانچواں چراغ ہے، حسن کا پہلا ہم سفر، علی کا دوسرا پسر، امام تیسرا حسین ہے۔ نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے، وہ جس نے باندھ کر ہوا جلا دیا بجھا دیا، وہ جس نے عرش سے بلند عظیم مرتبہ دیا، وہ جس نے کائنات کا نظام ہی بدل دیا، ایک ایسا معجزہ حسین ہے۔ نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے، قضا کے بعد پھر مجھے نئی حیات مل گئی، فشار سے عذاب سے مجھے نجات مل گئی۔ سوال جب کیا گیا ہے کون تیرا رہنما، تو میں نے کہہ دیا حسین ہے۔ نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے، کرو گے گر مخالفت غم حسین کی یہاں، وہ حشر ہوگا حشر میں کہ الحفیظ والعلماء، جہاں بھی چھپنے جاؤ گے کہیں بھی بچ نہ پاؤ گے، کہ ہر جگہ میرا حسین ہے۔ نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے، شہید کربلا کا غم جسے بنا گوار ہے، وہ بد عمل ہے بد نصیب، اسی پہ بے شمار ہے۔ ارے کچھ منے ازا تم میرے ذرا لحد میں جا، پتا چلے گا کیا حسین ہے۔ نہ پوچھئے کہ کیا حسین ہے۔ اور محمد والے محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔ سورہ فاتحہ. جس دم سنی امام امم نے صدائے حر، جس دم سنی امام امم نے صدائے حر، سینے پہ ہاتھ مار کے چلائے ہائے حر، رو کر کہا رفیقوں سے دیکھی وفائے حر، فرش ازاحرم نے بچھائی برائے حر، فرش ازاحرم نے بچھائی برائے حر، کھینچی جو شہن آہ دل بے قرار سے، نکلی تڑپ کے فاطمہ زہرا مزار سے، نکلی تڑپ کے فاطمہ زہرا مزار سے، دوڑے ادھر سے رن کی طرف سید امم، آئے نجف سے حیدر صفدر بچشم نم، آواز دی نبی کے حر کو لیے ہم، جس وقت پہنچ شاہ تو وہ توڑتا قدم، جس وقت پہنچ شاہ تو وہ توڑتا قدم، سر کاٹنے کی فکر میں جو تھے وہ ہٹ گئے، مہمان سے اپنے دوڑ کے حضرت لپٹ گئے، مہمان سے اپنے دوڑ کے حضرت لپٹ گئے، زانو پہ رکھ لیا سرے حر اور یہ کہا بھائی حسین آیا ہے آہوش میں ذرا، آنکھیں قدم پہ مل کے یہ بولا وہ باوفا، مولا ہزار جان سے میں آپ پر فدا، مولا ہزار جان سے میں آپ پر فدا، جن کے لیے زمین پہ ملک سر جھکاتے ہیں، وہ لوگ خل سے میرے لینے کو آتے ہیں، وہ لوگ خلد سے میرے لینے کو آتے ہیں، زانو پہ سر ہے آپ کے یا شاہ بحر و بر، محبوب کبریا ہیں ادھر شیر حق ادھر ہیں کون یہ مقدمہ پہلو میں نو اگر شہ نے کہا کہ روتی ہیں اماں برہن سے شہ نے کہا کہ روتی ہیں اماں برہن سے تو حشر تک امام دو عالم کے ساتھ ہے ماتم تیرا حسین کے ماتم کے ساتھ ہے ماتم تیرا حسین کے ماتم کے ساتھ ہے یہ سن کے غیر ہو گیا اس دم جری کا زانو شاہدی پہ کیا حر نے انتقال خیمے کے در پہ لاش کو لایا علی کا حال سب بیوں نے کھول دیے اپنے سر کے بال سب بیوں نے کھول دیے اپنے سر کے بال زینب یوں روئی شہ کے فدائی کے واسطے جیسے بہن تڑپتی ہے بھائی کے واسطے جیسے بہن تڑپتی ہے بھائی کے واسطے جس دم سنی امام نے ستائے حر صلوات اللہ صلی اللہ
محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل Muhammad. Mu'min and Mu'minat, Assalamu alaikum. I have some quick announcements regarding some of the upcoming Muharram programs and some maintenance items. The first one is there's a lost and found box placed outside for any belongings that may have gone missing over the past year. Please take a look at it in case you've lost anything. At the end of the month, that box will be emptied and those items will be donated. If you'd like to sponsor Tabarruk for any of the upcoming programs, as many of you know, we have programs nightly through the first 12 days and then on a weekly basis thereafter until the 9th of Rabiul Awwal. If you're interested in sponsoring for Tabarruk, please contact brothers Abad Mirza and Musawwir Jafri. Also, as we had announced yesterday, and many of you helped us out in this, but the chairs in the back, once again, the request is please fill each line from the middle so that we can save the chairs at the end for the elderly who are arriving late and so that they don't have any trouble finding a place. Sunday school signups are now underway. Inshallah, Sunday school begins middle of August. If you're interested in signing up your kids, please contact the Jafria management. Next Saturday is the annual Muharram blood drive, Saturday, July 13th from 7:30 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. If you're interested in signing up, you can reach out to any of the Jafria management and they can get you signed up for the blood drive. Also, next Saturday, July 13th, is a question and answer session following Dr. Akber Mithani's lecture. Next Sunday, on July 14th, is the annual Hussein Day Julus. The Julus takes place every year in downtown Los Angeles at 700 South Broadway. And once again, it's from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday the 14th. All Mu'mineen and their families are requested to mark that date on their calendars and join in the Julus program. Lastly, if I can request all of you to recite Surah Fatiha and Surah Ikhlas for all the marhumin of today's sponsors, for all the marhumin of everyone in attendance tonight, and for all the marhumin on the Jafri Memorial Board. محمد وآل محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على Muhammad وآل Muhammad. Please join me in inviting Dr. Akber Mithani up to the member with the loudest service salawats upon Muhammad وآل Muhammad.
سورة المباركة الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، شفيع المذنبين وخاتم النبيين، نبينا وشفينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود، وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين واصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وفرقانه الحميد، وهو أصدق الصادقين وقوله الحق. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما أرسلنا من رسول إلا ليطاع بإذن الله ولو أنهم إذا ظلموا أنفسهم جاءوك فاستغفروا الله واستغفر لهم الرسول لوجدوا الله توابا رحيما. آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات على محمد وآله. Elders of the community, my brothers and sisters in Islam, Salamun alaykum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام. It's a beautiful ayah of Surah An-Nisa, which is ayah number 64, wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن رَسُولٍ إِلَّا لِيُطَاعَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and we did not send down any messenger. We did not send down any messenger, but that he should be obeyed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with his permission. And that they say that when the people are unjust to themselves, the Quran says, when they are unjust to themselves, meaning when they commit sins, when they are unjust to themselves, they come to see you and ask forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the messenger had also asked forgiveness for them. And then they will find Allah to be the most oft forgiving and the most merciful. This is a very famous ayah of Surah An-Nisa. This ayah talks about the importance of Tawassul, of wasila. Yeah? We're going to talk about Tawassul today, but we're going to analyze it in a different way. It may be, it may be difficult for you as to what I'm going to say today, because it may be shattering your already preconceived notion of tawassul. Yeah? You know, tawassul by definition, you know, it means seeking a means to get to the proximity or the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By definition, that is what tawassul actually means. Yes, you're seeking a means, a wasila, in order to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, this is a Quranic concept, there is no doubt about it. And it doesn't matter which part of the Muslim sect you are from. Nobody doubts the fact that this is a Quranic concept. Yeah? The brothers of Prophet Yusuf came to him and asked him to seek forgiveness for them. The Prophet Yusuf's brother asked Yusuf to seek forgiveness from them. So they were asking Yusuf to be a wasila. Yeah? So in the spiritual journey, one of the tools that a servant of Allah adopts is to seek the help of the Ahlul Bayt as a means to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? Now, of course, there are many objections to the concept of tawassul. Some of these objections are because we have not defined tawassul properly. You see, the objections not only come from our brothers in Ahl Sunnah, but in fact the objections come from within our own sect of Shiism. Yeah? And even in our own community here, there are people and youngsters who are struggling with this concept of tawassul. Right? The objection is that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is closer to me than my jugular vein, yes, that's a Quranic concept. Yes, Allah is saying, I'm closer to you than your jugular vein. So if Allah is so close to me, is closer to me than my jugular vein, then why do I need to seek tawassul? Why do I need to seek a wasila? Yes, surely, can I not just connect with him directly? He's closer to me than my jugular vein. Can I not just talk to him directly? Can I not connect to him directly? You see, we have not understood that spiritual closeness, which is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alludes to in this ayah. Spiritual closeness is very different from physical closeness. Yeah? Allah is not a shay, He's not a material entity. When He says, I'm closer to you than your jugular vein, it doesn't mean He's physically close to you. It means He is spiritually close to you than your jugular vein, right? So when you're talking about spiritual closeness, just because He is close to you, that doesn't mean that you are close to Him. Because this is not a physical closeness. This is a spiritual closeness, right? Because He is close to you doesn't mean that you are close to Him. So our understanding of tawassul, has sometimes developed in a way as to how we function in this world. And the way we function in this world, we extrapolate that to this is our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we think about tawassul in those ways, right? So our understanding of tawassul is that if you are connected to people in high places, right? Because, they are very influential, they are very much in a high place in this world, right? You are connected to them. These are people who are influential, they are in high places. They will do things for you that you would normally not be able to get done. Yes? Because you are connected to some people in high places, yes? Even if you do not deserve it, because you have a connection with somebody who is influential, they may be able to give you that job because they can influence that person who makes the decision. They have a connection with that person who makes the decision, so they may be able to do your sifarish and they may be able to influence that person so that you get that job even if you don't deserve it. That's what we do in this world, isn't it? Yes, we do it all the time. I gotta tell you, man, it gets done all the time, especially from the Indo-Pak region, yeah? मेरे मामू का बेटा है, या मेरे खाला का बेटा है, उसको कुछ कर दो यार, you know, it will be fine, you know, he'll be okay. हाँ ठीक है, you know, 12वीं fail है, लेकिन फिर भी, you know, he'll be fine, right? This is what we do, right? We use influential people to get what we want, even if that person doesn't deserve it. Yes? And we think of tawassul in the same way. We think that there are certain things that I cannot get from God. There are certain blessings that I cannot get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if I am connected to the Ahlul Bayt, I can get those blessings through the Ahlul Bayt. We think the same way as we think in this world, yes? Of course, if you think like that, the question comes up that is this not a form of discrimination then? Yeah? You may not be deserving of a certain blessings, but because you are connected to the Ahlul Bayt, you say to Ahlul Bayt, that's, you know, do this for me. Get this done for me, even though I am not deserving of it. Yes? Or does it not encourage maybe laziness? Right? Because you think to yourself, the person says, well, it doesn't matter if I pray or if I fast. It doesn't matter. I have the Ahlul Bayt, right? The Ahlul Bayt will do it for me. Yes? I have the Azaa of Imam Hussein. That will be enough for me. I will get to Jannah from the Azaa of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Yes? This is the same way that we think. What we have to understand is that the tawassul and the shafa'at of the Ahlul Bayt depends on whether you are deserving of it or not. Yes? You have to be deserving of that tawassul, of that shafa'at, for the Ahlul Bayt to intercede for you. There has to be something from yourself. It's not like this world. It's not like you have an influential person and you're trying to influence that person. So the question comes then, why do we do tawassul? Yeah? We say that we do tawassul to the Ahlul Bayt so that they can convince Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be more merciful towards me, to give me some more blessings, to give me some more grace, right? Give me some more of His rahmah. We say that we want the Ahlul Bayt to convince Allah to give these blessings to me. Really? Allah needs to be convinced by the Ahlul Bayt for Allah to give you more blessings? That's what we think. Yeah? You cannot have that conversation with Allah yourself. You have to ask the Ahlul Bayt to convince Allah. You say to the Ahlul Bayt, Bana, look, I know I don't deserve it, but convince Allah to give it to me. It doesn't make sense, right? So the way to look at tawassul is this way. This is the way the Ahlul Bayt have explained wasila to us. Yes? Tawassul is a means. It is a means where I am able to expand my own existential capacity. Tawassul is a means where I am able to open up my heart. I am able to open up my heart existentially so that I may become deserving of those blessings of Allah to come to me. That is what tawassul is. It is a means of benefiting from the Ahlul Bayt. The Ahlul Bayt will increase your own existential capacity. It will increase your potential to receive more from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what wasila is. Yeah? Right? I have to have that heart that is able to accept from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, the sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. The sixth holy Imam is on his deathbed. He's on his deathbed. His final moments of the sixth Imam. His family has gathered around him in his final moments. And he says to his family, he says that, listen, our tawassul, our shafa'at will not benefit anybody who takes his salat lightly. That's what the Imam is saying. Yes? This means that there are certain things that we do. There are certain sins that we commit that actually do not expand our existential capacity, but they constrict our existential capacity. The problem is not with Allah. The problem is with us. Right? When we commit those sins and we commit those transgressions, we constrict our own capacity to receive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can call out to Imam Hussein alayhi salam as much as you want, but if you continue to be deficient in your moral and ethical character, if your moral and ethical character is deficient, then you will not have the effect of Aba Abdullah's expansion and for you to be able to embark on that arc of salvation. It's not possible, right? And the purpose of Muharram, the purpose of Ziyarah, the purpose of all of these things is to transform your inner self in a way that you expand your heart. You expand your own existential capacity to be able to receive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are three ways which the Ahlul Bayt have taught us on how we do tawassul. Yes? There are three levels. मेरे साथ है ना कोई complicated तो नहीं, थोड़ी boring होगी ये आज की मजलिस नहीं? हाँ? There are three levels of tawassul. Yes? We have to understand these levels. The lowest level of tawassul, the most basic and lowest level of tawassul is the level that we all understand, which is the apparent tawassul that we do. Yes? Calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the names of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Yeah? Examples of this include the majalis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Going for ziyarah, for example, crying for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, doing the azah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Normally, we turn to the Ahlul Bayt and we ask the Ahlul Bayt whenever we have a problem in our life, don't we? Fix this for me, fix that for me, I have a problem here, do this for me, do that for me, right? We never think that the highest level of tawassul, even at this low level, is when you ask and seek the wasila of the Ahlul Bayt to elevate and ascend you from a spiritual perspective. We never do that. We never do that. You know, when I went once, to Ziyarah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the opportunity to go and meet Abu Abdullah over and over again, inshallah. You know, when I went there, I went to see a marja. I won't mention the marja's name. So I went to see this marja. And I went to see him, and he said to me, I said to him, I want a nasihat from you. I want just a gem. Give me a pearl of wisdom from you. And he looked at me and he said, you don't have any questions? I said, no, I don't have any questions. I just want you to give me a nasihat. Just give me a pearl of wisdom. So he was surprised because, Khojas usually, they always ask about moon sighting, right? So, so he was, I think, a little bit surprised. So I said, just give me a nasihat. And he said to me, why have you come here? And I said that, I've come here to do the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And he said to me, it's interesting, isn't it? He said, everybody comes here because they have a problem. They want you to get this fixed. They have a problem with their wives, with their husbands, with their children, with their jobs, with their whatever, sickness, illness. They come to the Ahlul Bayt to get all of that fixed. And there is nothing wrong in it, he says. It's a good thing. There's nothing wrong in it. But he said, who comes to see Imam Hussein just to see him? Who just comes to him and say, oh, Abu Abdullah, I've not come for anything. I've just come to see you. Yes? And he says, who comes to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and say to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein that I'm deficient. I'm deficient in my spirituality. I'm deficient in my akhlaq, in my character. I am deficient in my worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe, Abu Abdullah, you can fix that for me. Who goes and does that? Allama Tabatabai, he speaks about this level of tawassul. He says that whenever he wanted to remove the barriers and veils in his journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allama Tabatabai was an arif, yes? He says, whenever in my journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I wanted to remove those veils and those barriers, he said, I found that the veils and the barriers were removed with two things. The first thing was that it was the recitation and the understanding of the Holy Quran that removed my veils and barriers. And the other thing that removed my veils and barriers was when I did tawassul to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Allama Tabatabai. Yeah? Sayyid Ali Qadhi, you know who Sayyid Ali Qadhi is? Sayyid Ali Qadhi is the teacher of Allama Tabatabai and the teacher of Ayatollah Bahjat. You're not an ordinary man. Eh? He's the teacher of Allama Tabatabai and the teacher of Ayatollah Bahjat. He used to say that if you want the secrets of spirituality to open up for you, if you want to understand what the real world is, you want the secrets of spirituality to open up to you, do the majalis of Imam Hussein alayhi salam on a weekly basis. And he says it doesn't matter if you're at home and there is 2 of you, 3 of you, just do the majalis of Imam Hussein, or short majalis, maybe a marsiya or something. You do it in your family every week if you can, even if there is 2 or 3 people for you. And you will see how the secrets of spirituality will open up for you. You see, this level of tawassul is what? This level of tawassul is when now you are developing the love for the people because of the goodness that is in them, right? You're developing a love for the Ahlul Bayt because of the goodness that is in them. By loving the Ahlul Bayt because of their goodness, because of their values, because of their principles, because of their virtues, now you start to love those principles, those values, those virtues. As you start to love those principles, those values and those virtues, now you are expanding your existential capacity. You are expanding your own potential. That is when Imam Hussein will say to you that come into my ark. You open up to me and I will pick you. I will choose you. Sometimes we create obstacles for ourselves, yes? Yes? The common question, that I get asked by the youth ask me this question quite commonly, right? They say to me, is it better for me to sit in this majalis that you are reciting, which is incredibly boring, and I'm not going to get anything out of it, right? Is it better? Is it not better for me that instead of sitting in this boring majalis that Mithani is reciting, is it not better for me to do something for humanity instead? Right? It's a common question that is asked. What did I get out of this majlis? I sat there for an hour and I didn't really learn anything. It's a waste of my time. So then the leadership will say, oh, we have to change the way we deliver lectures. We have to make sure that we are connected to the recent technology. Yes? Now we need to bring more technology for our majalises so that our youth can become more engaged. And I said, there's nothing wrong in that, by the way. I'm not saying there is anything wrong in that. We need to adopt. We need to adapt, in a way where we are able to bring more youth in and engage them more. But then it goes further. Now the youth will say, or some will say, that maybe what we need to do is we need to remove the Masayid. We need to just look at the analytical aspect of Karbala. And so what happens is that things progress. What we need to understand is that the majalis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein has a transformative effect on your heart. And even if you don't understand the language, even if you don't understand the language, the zahir sitting in the majalis of Imam Hussein, even if you don't feel like crying, but at least bowing your head down and pretending to cry, this is Ahlul Bayt hadith, even that will have an effect on your heart. It has an effect on your heart. It increases that existential capacity of yours, right? So that you may be able to receive more of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The power of these majalises we have not understood. The oppressors in history have tried their hardest to get rid of this majalis of Imam Hussein. And under different pretexts, different contexts. Every time you will see they will try their hardest, get rid of this majalis of Imam Hussein. Not because of just the messages that are being given, because it has a transformative effect on the heart. So that's the lowest level of tawassul. A higher level of tawassul and more powerful is called tawassul amali. Tawassul amali. Yes? Here, doing tawassul to the Ahlul Bayt in your actions. You're using them now as your role models, following their way, right? Role modeling the Ahlul Bayt. It's a higher level of tawassul, yes? Now their standards become your standards. Their principles become your principles. Their character and their akhlaq become your standard for your akhlaq and your character. When you live like that, this form of tawassul is even more powerful than the first level. Here you actually adopt the goodness of the Ahlul Bayt and implement that goodness in your life. Once Prophet Musa, alayhi salam, he was going onto the mountain. Musa Kalimullah, yes? I told him, I love Musa. Musa he's a cool prophet. I really like him, yeah? So Musa is going onto the mountain to have a conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As he's going, he sees a man in the bottom of the mountain. He sees a man in sujood. He's in sajda, right? And he's praying earnestly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has many desires, he has many needs, so he's praying. So that's good. Musa goes onto the mountain, he spends a few days there, he worships Allah, he talks to Allah, and then after a few days, he comes back down. As he comes back down, he sees the same man in the same state in sujood. After a few days. So Musa, he's amazed, right? So he says to this man, Musa says to this man, he says, Listen, if it was in my hands, I would have given you what you want. This is amazing, this worship that you are doing. I went there, you were in sajda. I came back, you are still in sajda after all these days, yeah? He said, I would have given you what you had asked for if it was in my hands. At that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to Musa. And he says to Musa, oh Musa, he can continue to do whatever he wants. He can continue this worship whatever he wants. I will never give him what he wants. And Musa is amazed. Musa says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, why? Look at him. He is in sajda, he is asking for you, why? So he says, Musa, until this man follows what I have asked him to do in my obedience and refrains from those things that I have asked him to refrain from in my disobedience, I will not give him what he wants. Until he answers me when I call out to him, I will not answer him when he calls out to me. Try this type of tawassul, and see what happens. Try tawassul in your actions. When you are missing your salat, right? Remember Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. And remember Hussein and the day of Ashra, and see that his companions performed salat on the day of Ashura in the heat of the battle, and say then to yourself that, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the wasila of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, give me the tawfiq so that I may be able to perform my salat no matter what state I'm in. This is tawassul amali. Yes? Your actions of following the Ahlul Bayt expands your existential capacity to a very high level, and you then end up benefiting from the mercy and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the highest level of tawassul, is understanding the status of the Ahlul Bayt. It's the highest level of tawassul. It's the most important level. Understanding that the Ahlul Bayt is the interface between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? The grace of Allah, the blessings of Allah, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala flows through to all of humanity through the Ahlul Bayt. Yes? You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is infinite, yes, and is unlimited. I'm not going to give you, a lesson in Tawheed, yes, because that I know will really bore you, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is infinite and He's unlimited. We, the world of creation, is finite and it's limited. So the question is, how can something that is infinite and unlimited, how can that entity which is infinite and unlimited transfer its grace to something that is finite and it's limited? The problem is not with Allah. Allah's grace, Allah's blessings, Allah's rahmah is flowing, pouring down 24/7. Right? The problem is in the creation. The capacity of the creation is limited to be able to accept those blessings because it's finite. It's limited, right? The nature of the creation is so limited that it cannot receive directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It does not have that capacity to receive directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore it needs a means. And that means is the Ahlul Bayt. Yes? Let me give you an example, right? It's like the sun and its rays. Yeah? The sun and its rays. You see, the sun has intensity and it emanates its rays with full intensity, right? But by the time the rays come to us of the sun, those rays are diluted, right? They are diluted in the atmosphere, in the ozone layer, and so on and so forth, so that when those rays reach us, they have been diluted through a means so that we can benefit from it. We would not be able to benefit from the rays of the sun directly from the sun because the intensity would be too great. We would not be able to utilize it. Yes? The creation would therefore not be able to bear the full intensity of the sun to receive its rays directly. It has to have a medium so that it comes to them through a medium to a level in a way that the creation can benefit from it. Otherwise, you would not be able to benefit from the rays of the sun. Yeah? In the same way, the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala flows to the world of creation in a way where the creation can acquire it. The creation has to be able to acquire it. You know, if you go to, I don't know if this is the case in Pakistan, recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. But if you go for a ziyarah, or if you go to one of the third world countries, right, some of the countries, the outlet is a 220 volt outlet, right? But the outlet here is 110. Am I right? Our equipment is only able to handle 110 volts. But you go there, their outlet is 220. So in order for your equipment to work, what do you need? You need a transformer. You need an adapter, don't you? You need an adapter that can take the 220 volts and convert it to 110 volts so that your equipment can work. If you plug in your equipment into that 220 volt outlet, what's going to happen? It's just going to burst, right? It's not going to be able to handle it. The intensity is too much. It is the same way when it comes to the Ahlul Bayt. The intensity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is huge, is unlimited, is infinite. It now needs a medium that is able to take that intensity, convert it to a way that can be managed by the creation so they can accept it. Right? The fifth holy Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala. See, creation comes into being through a process of emanation and manifestation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the most perfect manifestation of Allah is the Ahlul Bayt. Yeah? The fifth holy Imam, one day somebody asked the fifth holy Imam, right? They asked him about the Prophet. And they said to him that we are a little bit confused about this. Can you tell us about this? And so the question was posed to the fifth Imam, and he said, I've heard from the Prophet. Yeah, so now the fifth Imam is quoting from the Prophet. Yes, the narration from the Prophet. And the question was, what is the first thing that Allah has created? Right? And the answer is, the Prophet replies, that the first thing that Allah has created was the light of your Prophet. Right? The Muhammadan light. The nur of the Holy Prophet was the first thing he created. And then the Prophet says that out of that nur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all of creation. Right? All of the creation was created out of the first manifestation, which is the most perfect manifestation, which is the Muhammadan light. This is what is called Haqiqat Muhammadiyah. Yes? Haqiqat Muhammadiyah is the first and most perfect manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that manifestation of the Holy Prophet now provides the means through which Allah creates the entire creation. See, let me give you an example. People ask about the salawat that we recite, yes? Let me tell you one thing, yeah? You know, you will come across so many different amals, amal of Arafah, amal of Laylatul Qadr, amal of this, amal of that. When you go for ziyarah, you will have a tick box, right? I need to do this ziyarah, to do this dua. We have a tick box mentality, don't we? Yeah? ये तो पढ़नी चाहिए. अगर नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो फिर problem हो जाएगा. This. If you want to really benefit, honestly, you don't know. And you know, you may go with a group and they're reciting, you know, Dua Abu Hamza and Dua this and this and this. And you are like, I don't know what's happening, man. I don't even understand this stuff. You don't know what to do. Do only one thing. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The entire aqidah is captured in salawat. If you were to know the benefit of salawat, I tell you, man, you would not do any other thing other than recite salawat. You know, if you look at salawat, right, people say, you know, we ask sometimes to recite salawat. Why do we do salawat? Why do we give blessings on Muhammad and Ali Muhammad? Do they really need our blessings? Do they really need our blessings? Right? Why do we do it? We don't understand what the significance of salawat is, right? We need to recognize the fact that, you know, when we recite salawat, we are recognizing the position of the Holy Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt. We are recognizing their position as a means through which the grace of God flows through the rest of creation. We know that the grace of God, the blessings of God, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala flows through to the rest of creation, right? Through the Holy Prophet and his exalted Ahlul Bayt. Because we cannot get it directly. The reason you recite salawat, you are saying that the grace of Allah, which is infinite, can only be acquired by Ahlul Bayt. And then the Ahlul Bayt, who has that capacity to acquire it, because their capacity is so vast, the Ahlul Bayt can acquire that grace and blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then they pass it on in accordance to the rest of the creation. So when you say, oh Allah, I want your mercy, I want your blessings, I want your grace, I know though that this grace, this mercy, this blessing cannot flow through to me directly. It has to flow through to me through the Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt. So, oh Allah, Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Give your grace and blessings to the Ahlul Bayt, to the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, so that they can receive it. And if they receive the blessings, that means that I will be deserving of receiving more of those blessings. This is Tawassul at the highest level. Understanding the status of the Ahlul Bayt. You see Sahifa Sajjadiyah, for example, you will see the du'as of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam full of salawat. Yes? In Makarim al-Akhlaq, he mentioned salawat 18 times in Makarim al-Akhlaq. The narrations say to us that when you want to recite a dua, start it with salawat, end it with salawat. Sandwich your dua with salawat. And then see how the blessings and grace of Allah will flow through you. Because you are now understanding the position of the Ahlul Bayt. The position of the Ahlul Bayt is you are saying to the Ahlul Bayt, I do your tawassul, I do your wasila because you can receive from Allah directly. And it is only through you that I will be able to receive the blessings of God. Creation is a process of emanation. Creation comes from that perfect human being, the first manifestation, which is the Muhammadan light. Yeah, you don't believe me? Hadith al-Qisa. Yeah, ya malaikati wa ya sukan as-samawati inni ma khalaqtu sama'an mabniya wala arzan madhiya wala qamaran munira wala shamsan mudhiya wala falakan yadur wala bahran yajri wala fulkan yasri إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت القساء. What does Allah is saying? Allah is saying, "O my angels, O the residents of my heavens, I have not created the erected sky. I have not created the stretched earth. I have not illuminated the moon. I have not brightened the sun. I have not created the rotating planets. I have not created the flowing seas. I have not created the sailing ships. I have not done any of that except for one reason, and one reason only. I have done that only for the love of these five who are the Ahlul Qisa." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, "Oh my angels, the whole creation has been created through the Ahlul Qisa. They are the biggest and the most perfect manifestations, and through them I have created the rest of the creation." Understanding the status of the Ahlul Bayt is the highest level of wasila. Yes? You know, there are two groups these days, aren't they? Yes? And both groups are wrong, by the way. There are two groups that have crept up. One who have exalted or raised the Ahlul Bayt to the level of God. And that's ghulu. And one who have really diminished the level of Ahlul Bayt, saying that yes, they were pious people. Achhe log the, alhamdulillah, right? But nothing special. Yes? Nothing special. Let me tell you something, man. It starts with the Ahlul Bayt and it ends with the Ahlul Bayt. The wasila of the Ahlul Bayt, right, is the most important thing for us. If only we were to understand the exalted position of the Ahlul Bayt, right? This is what wasila is about. Having an understanding of the wasila of the Ahlul Bayt. Yeah? For there was one man in Karbala who had a realization of wasila. And that man was Hurr. Yes? If you look at the history of Hurr, Hurr was that person, you know, what saved him was only one thing. What saved him was his love for Fatima al-Zahra. That is what saved Hurr. He turned because he understood the concept of the wasila at the highest level. Until that time when he was, you know, deviating Imam Hussein alayhi salam and bringing him to Karbala, that realization had not hit his heart yet. Yes, but he had a soft spot for Fatima al-Zahra. He understood the status of Fatima. And what saved him was the status of Fatima al-Zahra. Yes? I tell you, when everything is lost in your life and you hit rock bottom, right? At that time, give the wasila of Fatima al-Zahra. And you will see how she will not disappoint you. Look at his love for Fatima. He stops Imam Hussein in the desert, right? He stops Imam Hussein in the desert. As Imam Hussein is wanting to leave, he gets hold of the reins of the horse of Abu Abdullah Hussein. Or, right? And Imam Hussein alayhi salam says to him, "Oh Hurr, may your mother weep on you." But look at his love for Fatima al-Zahra. He says to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, "Oh Hussein, Yabna Rasulallah, if there had been anybody else who had said something to me like what you have said, I would have responded. But your mother is Fatima al-Zahra. How can I say something, against Fatima al-Zahra?" Look at his love for Fatima. On the day of Ashura, when he's agitated, he's nervous, he hears the sounds of al-atash of the children. And he says to his soldiers that I find myself in this state between heaven and hell. But then he says to himself, I find myself in this state and I'm thinking to myself that what response will I give to the mother of Hussein, Fatima al-Zahra? After Hurr was forgiven by Imam Hussein, and he comes into the camp of Imam Hussein, he comes to Imam Hussein, he says, I have a request. I have one request. And Abu Abdullah al-Hussein says to him, Hurr, what is your request? He says that I want an opportunity to go and talk to the women folk in the camp. So Imam Hussein says, I give you permission. So Hurr goes and he stands outside the tent of the women. Outside of the tents of the women, he stands there and he says his salam to the women and he asks for forgiveness from the women of Abu Abdullah. And the women say to Hurr, oh Hurr, we forgive you. We forgive you. Our Aka has forgiven you. And we forgive you as well. But look at the ihtiram that Hurr has for Fatima al-Zahra. He's still not satisfied. He says to the women, I have only one more question to ask you. Will you complain about Hurr to Fatima al-Zahra? Will you complain about Hurr to Fatima al-Zahra? Says, my God, I will not take a step away until you assure me that you will not complain to Fatima al-Zahra about Hurr. And the women say to him that, oh Hurr, we promise you that we will not complain to Fatima al-Zahra about you. This is Hurr. Hurr is that man who had the handkerchief of Fatima al-Zahra that was tied on his forehead by Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. I tell you, who needs Jannah when you have the handkerchief of Fatima al-Zahra on your head? Ibn Ziyad ke lashkar mein Hurr jaisa koi bahadur nahi tha. Hurr jaisa koi bahadur nahi tha. Ye ek yakini baat hai. मैं आपको कहता हूं, आपको ये तारीख में मिलेगा। उमर साद ने करबला में कई बार ये कहा था कि हुर्र, जब तक तू साथ है मुझे किसी बात का खौफ नहीं। उमर इब्न साद जब भी कोई ऐसी कॉम्प्लीमेंट किसी को देता है तो वो उसका दिल जीत लेता है, राइट? उसका दिल जीत लेता है। अगर आपको कोई ऐसी कॉम्प्लीमेंट दे तो आप उसका दिल जीत सकते हैं। हुर्र, जब तक तू है तो लश्कर में दम है और हमें कोई खौफ नहीं है। उमर इब्न साद। आशूर की रात हो रही, आशूर की रात को हुर्र अपने खैमे में बैठे हैं और एक मर्तबा दूर से आवाज आ रही है, हुर ये आवाज सुन रहे हैं। एक मर्तबा हुर ने सुना कि बच्चों की आवाज आ रही है, अल अताश अल अताश, हाय प्यास हाय प्यास। फातिमा के बच्चों की आवाज आ रही है, हाय प्यास हाय प्यास। एक मर्तबा जब ये सुनना था, हुर ने अपनी गर्दन को झुका दिया और अपने आप से बातें करने लगा। हुर अपने आप से कहने लगा, हुर फुरात का पानी ठाठे मार रहा है और फातिमा की औलाद प्यासी है। और अगर फातिमा को क्या जवाब दोगे? अज़ादारों, सुबह तक हुर सोया नहीं है। जब सूरज निकला है, सूरज निकला है और दिन सिर्फ थोड़ा जागा है, मर्रिख लिखते हैं कि दिन सिर्फ थोड़ा जागा है, तो मुर्रा इब्न कैस ये यजीद के चंद घोड़ों को लेकर फुरात के किनारे आता है और वहां खड़ा हो जाता है। हुर मुर्रा के पीछे पीछे जा रहा है। अभी तो सिर्फ सुबह हुई है, अभी 1 घंटा भी शायद नहीं हुआ है। मुर्रा घोड़ों को लेके किनारे फुरात पे आया है। एक मर्तबा हुर ने देखा कि मुर्रा ने पानी लिया फुरात से और पानी लेके घोड़ों के पैरों में कदमों पे बहाने लगा। एक मर्तबा जब हुर ने देखा, हुर के दिल में आया जानवर के कदमों पे पानी बहता है ताकि वो अपने आप को जमीन पे खड़े हो सके। लेकिन हाय हुसैन के बच्चे, हुसैन की 4 साल की बच्ची खैमगाह में माँ के दामन को पकड़ के आला तहाश की आवाज हुर से बर्दाश्त नहीं हो सका। हुर ने मुर्रा से कहा, मुर्रा क्या तुम ये आवाज नहीं सुन रहे हो? तुम घोड़ों के पैरों पे पानी डाल रहे हो ताकि उनकी टापों को है तस्कीन मिले और वहां हुसैन के बच्चे जमीने करबला में तड़प रहे हैं। सरदारान हुसैन, अब हुर से रहा नहीं गया। हुर इधर का, अब हुर ने ये फैसला किया, हुर अब निकल रहे हैं, इमाम हुसैन के जानिब जाने के लिए निकल रहे हैं। यहाँ से हुर निकला है, वहां से एक मर्तबा अबा अब्दुल्लाह ने अब्बास को बुलाया, कहा अबुल फजल अब्बास मेरे पास आओ। अब्बास ने कहा आका क्या बात है? हुसैन ने कहा अब्बास मेरा मेहमान आ रहा है, मैं चाहता हूं कि तुम जाके उसका इस्तकबाल करो। अब्बास अब निकले हैं हुसैन के खैमे से, उमर साद के खैमे से हुर निकला है। ये 2 बहादुर बीच में मिले हैं। जब ये 2 बहादुर बीच में मिले हैं, एक मर्तबा हुर ने अपनी गर्दन को झुका दिया। अबुल फजल अब्बास को कहा अब्बास क्या मुझे अबा अब्दुल्लाह के पास ले जाओगे? क्या मुझे अबा अब्दुल्लाह के पास ले जाओगे? अज़ादारो, अब्बास ने कहा और मेरे आका ने खुद इस्तेकबाल के लिए भेजा है। और ने कहा मुझे जल्दी से अबा अब्दुल्लाह के पास ले जाओ। अज़ादारो, अब ये दोनों आ रहे हैं खैमगाह की तरफ। जब खैमगाह के बाहर पहुंचे हैं, एक मर्तबा हुर ने अब्बास से कहा अब्बास यहाँ थोड़ी देर के लिए ठहर जाओ। अब्बास ने कहा हुर अभी तो बहुत बेचैनी थी अबा अब्दुल्लाह से मिलने के लिए, अब यहाँ रोकने के लिए क्यों कह रहे हो? हुर ने कहा अब्बास मैं एक गुजारिश करना चाहता हूँ। क्या बात है हुर? हुर ने कहा अब्बास मेरे हाथों को मेरे चेहरे पे बांध दो। अब्बास ने कहा क्यों? हुर ने कहा मुझे नहीं पता मैं किस मुंह से वहां जाऊंगा। मैं जनाबे सानिए ज़हरा को कैसे अपनी मुंह दिखाऊंगा। अज़ादारों, अब्बास ने हुर के हाथ बांधे, अपने चेहरे पे बांधे। एक मर्तबा हुर अबा अब्दुल्लाह के पास आते हैं, अपने आप को हुसैन के कदम قدموں میں گرا دیا. کہتے ہیں آقا حور معافی مانگنے کے لیے آیا ہے, کیا حور کو آپ معاف کر سکو گے؟ حسین نے حور کو لیا, ایک مرتبہ حور کو کھڑا کیا, حور کو کہا حور تمہاری ماں نے تمہارا نام صحیح رکھا ہے. حور کہتے ہیں مرد آزاد کو, حور کہتے ہیں مرد آزاد کو, اے حور جا میں نے بھی تجھے معاف کیا اور میرے اللہ نے بھی تجھے معاف کیا. بس عزادارو یہ سننا تھا. کربلا میں تکبیر کی آواز بلند ہوئی, اللہ اکبر کی آواز بلند ہوئی, یہ سننا تھا. زینب نے ایک مرتبہ فضا سے کہا فضا میرے کیا بات ہے, کربلا میں تکبیر کی آواز گونج رہی ہے. فضا نے کہا ثانی زہرا حور آیا ہے. جب جناب زینب نے سنا کہ حور ماں جائے کی نصرت کے لیے آیا ہے, ایک مرتبہ زینب نے کہا فضا جا کے حور کو میرا سلام, جا کے حور کو میرا سلام بھیجو. زیدارو فضا آتی ہے, فضا نے حور کو کہا حور ثانی زہرا نے سلام بھیجا ہے. جب حور نے یہ سنا زمین کربلا پہ گر گیا. کہتے ہیں یا اللہ حسین پہ کیسا وقت آیا ہے کہ شہزادی مجھ جیسے گنہگار کو سلام بھیج رہی ہے. عزادارو اب حر نے جلدی اجازت مانگی. حر اجازت مانگ کے میدان میں آئے. عمر سعد کا لشکر ادھر کا ادھر ہو گیا. ایک مرتبہ کسی نے حر کے سر پہ حملہ کیا, حر کے سر پہ تلوار کا وار کیا. حر گھوڑے سے زمین پہ آئے, ایک مرتبہ آواز دی السلام علیکہ یا ابا عبداللہ, ابا عبداللہ میرا سلام قبول کرو. عزادارو جب حر نے سلام کیا ہے حسین نے سا آواز سنی. ایک مرتبہ حسین کہتے ہیں ہائے میرا مہمان, ہائے میرا مہمان. شام غریبہ میں جب حر کی زوجہ پانی لے کے آئی ہے, جب حر کی زوجہ بچوں کے لیے پانی لے کے آئی ہے, ایک مرتبہ ثانی زہرا نے اپنے سر کو جھکا دیا. کہتی ہے حر کی زوجہ کو اے حر کی زوجہ میں بہت ہی شرمندہ ہوں. حر ہمارے پاس بطور مہمان آیا تھا لیکن ہم حر کی مہمان نوازی نہ کر سکتے. بس یعلم الذین ظلموا.
یا حسین 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 یا حسین.
سب مل کے پڑھیں
یا حسین 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 حیا علی خیر العمل 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 یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے 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 بوند پانی کے لیے دشت میں ترسائے گئے بوند پانی کے لیے دشت میں ترسائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے آئے گئے بھوکے پیاسے ہیں محمد کے نواسے مظلوم بھوکے پیاسے ہیں محمد کے نواسے مظلوم یوں تیری جان پہ میں تیروں کے برسائے گئے یوں تیری جان پہ میں تیروں کے برسائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے سب مل کے پڑھیں مان جو بلوائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے تیری معصوم سکینہ کو تماچے مارے تیری معصوم سکینہ کو تماچے مارے تازیانے تیرے بیمار کو لگوائے گئے تازیانے تیرے بیمار کو لگوائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے علی اصغر نے زبان کھولی جو پانی کے لیے علی اصغر نے زبان کھولی جو پانی کے لیے تیر سے پیاس بجھی خون میں نہلائے گئے تیر سے پیاس بجھی خون میں نہلائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے بوند پانی کے لیے دشت میں ترسائے گئے، وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے، وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے۔ چھینی زینب کی ردا تجھ کو نہ پہنایا کفن، چھینی زینب کی ردا تجھ کو نہ پہنایا کفن، سر کھلے بلوے میں پھر تیرے حرم لائے گئے، سر کھلے بلوے میں پھر تیرے حرم لائے گئے، وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے 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 گئے۔ تیری معصوم سکینہ کو تماچے مارے، تیری معصوم سکینہ کو تماچے مارے، تازیانے تیرے بیمار کو لگوائے گئے، تازیانے تیرے بیمار کو لگوائے گئے، وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے 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 گئے۔ یہ جہاں حشر تلک روتا رہے گا ساحل، یہ جہاں حشر تلک روتا رہے گا ساحل، ہائے کیوں آل محمد ستم ڈھائے گئے، ہائے کیوں آل محمد ستم ڈھائے گئے، وہ بڑی شان سے آئے گئے، وہ بڑی شان سے مہمان جو بلوائے گئے۔
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، 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 قیامت کی فضا چھائی ہے زہرا کے گلستان میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، جو لوٹا کربلا میں تو مسلمانوں نے کیا لوٹا، جو لوٹا کربلا میں تو مسلمانوں نے کیا لوٹا، علی کی بیٹیوں کی چادریں آئی ہے ساما میں، علی کی بیٹیوں کی چادریں آئی ہے ساما میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، زمین کربلا اس کو ذرا آرام سے رکھنا، زمین کربلا اس کو ذرا آرام سے رکھنا، سلایا ہے علی اصغر کو لے کر تیرے دامن میں، سلایا ہے علی اصغر کو لے کر تیرے دامن میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، قیامت کی فضا چھائی ہے زہرا کے گلستان میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، کہاں ہو تم علی اکبر ذرا آواز تو دینا، کہاں ہو تم علی اکبر ذرا آواز تو دینا، اکیلا رہ گیا ہے فاطمہ کا لال میدان میں، اکیلا رہ گیا ہے فاطمہ کا لال میدان میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں 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 میں، جو لوٹا کربلا میں تو مسلمانوں نے کیا لوٹا، جو لوٹا کربلا میں تو مسلمانوں نے کیا لوٹا، علی کی بیٹیوں کی چادریں آئی ہے ساما میں، علی کی بیٹیوں کی چادریں آئی ہے ساما میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، محمد کا گھرانہ کربلا والے بیاباں میں، یا حسین یا حسین، وہ عابد بیمار تھا، چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا، شام کا